Wait.
Huh?
Hello, nerds. Happy Friday. It's day after Spider-Man, so we're going to talk all about... No. Lots of people have not had the opportunity to see Spider-Man yet. We're not really going to get into that. So
we're not
this is a safe space.
Spider-Man?
What? What's
we're
that?
We're not going to spoil Spider-Man?
We're not going to spoil Spider-Man. The rest of the internet is out there trying to do that to you.
I have not seen it. I won't see it till Sunday, probably.
All right. Well, this is a safe space. Come in here, retreat from the barrage of people in the comment section everywhere. In the comment section here, you're not going to have spoilers. Paul, don't spoil anything.
No, we're not going to spoil anything.
Please, no spoilers. Please, no spoilers, everybody.
No spoilers at all.
We'll
but I can't ask you this, though. I can at least ask you, like, did you enjoy it?
Hey, let's do the introductions first. Hi, I'm your host tonight, Carl. With me, trying to get me on track is Sintel.
Yo, what's cracking, Big Pimpin'? Happy to see everybody. All that good stuff. Yo, go Spidey and Chuck.
Hello, everyone. It is Chuck, your neighborhood Spider-Man.
Oh shit! I said no spoilers.
I'm the neighborhood Spider-Man. If Spider-Man looks like me, the world is in trouble.
Oh, yeah, that or he
asking for Black Spider-Man.
Locks in. I'm like, yo,
I haven't even seen the movie yet. I can't give any spoilers.
I'll just say I did the thing that you're not supposed to do, and I wore the band shirt to the concert.
Okay, you wore the band shirt to the concert.
You're not supposed to do that,
Carl. It is 2021. You can wear the band shirt to the concert.
Nah, it's tacky. That's how we do music discovery.
I'm like, all right, band shirt.
You clearly have the same taste. Tell me about something else that I should get into. You know, that's what the shirts are for.
We can talk about Into the Spider-Verse, that teaser they dropped that has nothing to do with the movie.
What do you mean nothing to do with the movie?
I heard the movie's completely different from the teaser. The teaser is just a technology test.
Well, I'm fine with that 100%. Yeah. Surprise me. Like, that's what I want from the Spider-Verse movie.
Yeah,
surprise me.
We gave you a couple of people, but y'all have no idea how big we're going to make this thing.
Well, that's good. I mean, give it to me. What is it? Was it the whole Spider-Man 2099 that was involved in there? I thought that was kind of interesting.
You know where the Spider 2099 was, though?
Yeah, that's Poe Dameron. Shit. What's his name? Oscar Isaac, Moon Knight.
Oscar Isaac.
Yeah, but that's the one that's from
what's his name? Atreides.
He's the Spider-Man from India.
I didn't know that.
Wait,
yeah, I don't know.
Hold on. He doesn't have a sash.
2099's backstory.
No, 2099's not Indian because the Spider-Man from India's got a waist sash.
He does, but they were in India. The whole trailer when they were fighting each other was all India. They even showed the Indian flag in it.
Okay. Well, anyway.
Because we're such
apparently
nerds.
We're spoiling a different spider multiverse movie here today.
that has scenes that have nothing to do with it.
All right. Like I said, sign me up, surprise me. That is what I want. Shock me and show me something I was never expecting for the Spider-Man movie.
I agree.
Give it all to me. But to answer what Intel was asking, what's my general feeling? I really enjoyed it. Midway through the movie, I thought this could be a GOAT superhero movie. It sort of deteriorated from there, but not to the point where I hate the movie. I still really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
There was just some choices that I was like, I don't think they would have done this.
Yeah, I felt it's a movie of the moment. I don't think it's going to age well. That's not a spoiler. Just because of just the way they shot it and stuff. I don't think it's gonna age well, but for the moment for the time that we're in this moment, it's a very good movie. Very good movie. Exceptionally well done movie. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay. Well, don't say anything else because I haven't seen the movie yet.
Trust me, that's not a spoiler at all. It's just
sounds like you're spoiling it to me, son.
Nah, man. You know how you watch like some movies like in the 80s, back in the 80s, and you're like, oh my God, I had this thought and this idea of how this movie is. And then you go back and watch it now, like 30 years after the fact, and you watch something from back then and you're like, this isn't really aging that well, you know? And I think it's going to be like one of them kind of things. Like years from now, we'll watch this and we'll be like, it's not really as good as I thought it was.
Is my face frozen?
No. What y'all drinking on?
No, you good.
What y'all drinking on?
I've got some water with electrolytes.
You got smart water?
Yeah.
After you drink it, do you feel smarter?
Negative Ghost Rider.
No, this is very expensive, and I just feel fortunate to have a job where I can afford this.
I buy smart water by the cakes too. It's a bad thing. It's horrible. I don't know why.
It's not.
It's not Swiss Mountain water. Like, I really like Swiss Mountain water. I don't know what brand it is, but like that alkaline levels, it's
Back when I was a production assistant and I used to buy snacks for movie sets and stuff like that, man, they used to send me out to get water, and I would only get the Voss water for me.
Oh, look at
for you, my own person, just for me, so that I would, just so I can get the glasses and be snooty while I sip.
So what did you get the stars? What were they sipping on? Fiji?
That regular old swamp water in the back. No. Fiji was definitely, the move that you had to do if you was trying to press somebody, but only a select few of us knew about Voss at the time.
Right,
Everybody knows about Voss now.
Yeah, Fiji is just basic, right? That's.
I mean, now it is.
Now it is.
All of it is.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of it is. It's just, some charcoal filters.
Yep.
It tastes good. It feels good going down. Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Sam's not too long ago doing some family buying, and I saw like a 12-pack of oxygen. Not lying.
12 pack of oxygen. People buying oxygen these days.
Now, keep in mind, I do live in Denver, and we're like a mile high. We're a mile up in the air. But, it's just like, dang, you got your water and your oxygen. Like, they were like pretty much sitting right next to each other.
Don't you start with me, Centel. Don't you start with me. When I came to Denver with you, you had me walk the whole entire city. I needed oxygen. Don't you start with me.
That was my man. It is funny, man. My girl was saying the same thing. She was like, I can't believe you got your guy here walking like this. I'm like, we trying to see the sights.
We walked like 9 miles in Denver. He had me walk around the whole entire city.
Well, the next time you come visit me, I'm going to make sure we get that 6-pack of oxygen and you'll be straight.
Oh, yeah. Out to, what is it, Estes Park, out in the wilderness up there in the Denver area for his wedding on the dance floor, one song. I was like, I can't breathe. I need to sit down.
I can't breathe in this.
Yeah, it's real out here, Phil.
Yo, I got some news to share with you guys.
Please.
Y'all know what I'm doing through the holidays?
What's that?
Geeking out on the Attack on Titans episodes. It's back, baby. It's back.
Okay.
It's back.
It is.
Yes.
So what's going on here? You're trying to dive into the news here. You're trying to do
a little bit. I mean, we usually have Summer Punch here, and she goes off the rails.
Man.
And she's into news again. So I figured, unless you want to go off the rails, Carl.
I just want to do one more thing here. Just real quick.
Go ahead.
All right. Paul in the chat saying they be filling some of those water bottles in the sink. True story. A lot of this bottled, purified water is just municipal water. I insist on spring water. I want to taste that bear piss, those natural nutrients to keep me strong.
Man said bear piss, ladies and gentlemen.
You want that deer dew? That deer dew in your water?
Yes, that flavor.
Like, this is very salty and tastes like pecans. I wonder where that comes from. Freshly chewed grass taste to it. Tastes like freshly chewed grass.
All right.
And the tangy stench of freshness.
Or you could drink your heroin-laced LA water, heroin and coke-laced LA water. So
Florida water can be very sulfuric, but not the spring water that I'm drinking. Anyway, hey Chuck, Mr. Anime Man, you were about to jump into some anime. Tell us about what's going on here with
Attack on Titans. They're finishing up the 5th season, right? So this is the finale season. So the beginning of the 5th season, there's such a switch.
Don't say anything.
I'm not going to say anything else. But when it happens, it's like your whole brain explodes.
Okay.
It's probably one of the illest ones I've seen in an animated series.
And the way they do it, it's happened before in anime, but what they do is
stop motion. Wow. So surprising.
Man, I don't know.
I've not watched any Attack on Titan.
I think it's the smartest move they've ever done in the anime, the way how they continue the story and how they tell it. And it changes everything that you watch in the story. I wish Lost would have done this.
Ooh, I know how much of a lover of Lost you had been.
Oh man, don't get me started on Lost. I think I watched the last 2 seasons. I watched it.
You and most of America.
3, and I watched it.
Yeah, well,
so Attack on Titans.
Was ambitious.
They have Trigger. I think it's Trigger doing animation, or is it Mappa?
No.
It's one of them, right?
It's Mappa
that's
is
a good
the
one.
or it
So
was
Mappa
formerly
took
Studio
over.
Wit and then now Mappa.
So Wit is the traditional animation. So you don't see a lot of the Titans in the Wit animation, and they do the anime things. Well, Mappa's like we put this all in computers now, and you see a lot of Titan stuff going on in the Mappa animation. Titans that are like 3 or 4 stories. There'll be 3 or 4 stories when they're in the city, but when they're hitting the wall in the Mappa animation, they're like 20 stories.
It's
tall.
Godzilla scale. It's so inconsistent. How tall is this monster? It doesn't matter.
No
Whatever the
idea.
scene needs.
Yeah,
Whatever
no
the scene
idea.
needs.
But it lends itself to the storytelling very well. And
Okay.
now the story in this is so deep and so intricate. You're like, oh. I'm not going to ruin it for anybody, but I tell you, if you haven't started Attack on Titans, you have 4 seasons to catch up on. If you're not caught by the 11th episode and you want to devour the rest of them, then I don't know what to do for you. Attack on Titans is one of the best war dramas that you'll see, and you'll have no idea what's truly going on. They hint about what's going on, and then when you see what goes on the first plot point, you're like, oh, this changes everything. Then there's like 7 other right after that, and then season 5, they're like, you know what you thought you knew? Nah, we're gonna tell you a whole different story.
Is this Riverdale? If you're telling me this is Riverdale, then I'm interested.
I mean, it's very. Without spoiling, the closest thing I could think of, you know how like Game of Thrones is there's this big arching story with these warring families, but then there's something that's much bigger. It's like that. It's like that kind of bigger. You're like, whoa!
And they don't introduce it like the White Walkers. You never introduced to it.
No, it's a terrible introduction, but I'm just trying to say like the scope of how you're telling one story, and then you get hit over the head with something grander than what you're watching.
Yeah, it is an exhibition of great storytelling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Overall, and the creator thought of it because he was like, I wonder what bugs feel like. What if I made humans bugs and made something that can actually destroy humans?
Oh, okay. I see.
And that's
It
where the
works.
original concept came from, and it works.
All right. What's going on? Okay,
Hey,
so
you know-
tell us more details about this Attack on Titan revival.
Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to tell you much more. You have to watch it.
All right.
You have to
I'll tell the
experience it for
details
yourself.
as someone. Okay. 8 new
Go ahead.
episodes, but they're not new episodes. They are broadcasting previously released straight to DVD episodes, which are character vignettes. So this will be starting December 19th on Funimation and Crunchyroll.
Yep, that's my mom's birthday too.
Okay. Well,
Hey,
Yeah,
happy birthday to the lady that helped make it all happen.
that's right.
The legend.
2 more
The
days.
legend.
She would love to hear that. She's a legend. She would love to hear that. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. I'm glad that Mappa's actually did these stories too. So Mappa is like one of my favorite anime studios. I think they're great at storytelling. They're great at visual storytelling, and their action scenes. My God, they get it right. What Naruto did, they combine that with Kill la Kill, and they just come through. Them and Trigger are like my 2 favorite studios. And so Mappa got there. They made a love letter to me called Jujutsu Kaisen. They made that for me.
I was going to ask because, like, I saw some clips of Jujutsu Kaisen. I was like, this really reminds me of Glenn Keane's animation for Tarzan. Like, so if you remember Tarzan, what it is, it's a traditionally 2D animated character over the top of a very dynamic camera flying through an environment. The Disney Tarzan movie from the 90s.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
The Tony Hawk one. Yeah.
Yeah, where he was a surfer skateboarder.
The Tony Hawk one. That is that one.
Games.
Wow.
They modeled it. He looks like Tony Hawk too. They modeled
does
everything
like
off of
Tony
Tony
Hawk.
Hawk.
That makes sense. That makes total sense. So, I mean, the one thing I think Star Wars Visions missed out on, they gave 2 episodes to Trigger, and Trigger did 2 different types of animation. They should have gave one of those to Mappa.
Yeah.
Well, I think you have connections who you can talk to about that if they
I know
ever
it,
do
right?
round 2.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, here's a little mini segue. I'm sorry, mini micro segue that's not on the list. So we're talking about new releases and animation. There's an animation that you need to see maybe before there's new releases, and that is The Witcher's animated one-off that they had because The Witcher's new season debuted last night.
Oh,
so
man.
it's like the holidays just keep on giving us all this amazing content. I don't know if you've watched The Witcher or read the books. Do yourself a favor if you want to see a really good fantasy series. And
That's
check
why
it
you
out.
got
It's on
the
Netflix.
Superman shirt on.
Yeah, Cavill, man, some Cavill love. Yeah, we're connecting all the dots on this one, baby. But before you watch it, make sure you watch the animated movie. I think it's called like Night of the Wolf or something like that.
Night of the Wolf. It's a Nightmare of the Wolf. Nightmare of the Wolf. Yeah, and it's so good.
It's a prequel to the actual Witcher, so even if you haven't seen The Witcher, it's not going to ruin it for you. So it can be watched out of sequence. But regardless, season 2 is out, baby. Season 2 of The Witcher.
Can I talk about the studio that made it? So Studio Mir is the Korean version of Trigger and Mappa, actually. They were the studio behind it. They did The Legend of Korra, the 4th season. They did The Boondocks for Netflix. They did Voltron Legendary Defenders. They did Dota. They did Kipo and the Age of Wonder Beast.
Wow, they got some bangers.
They did the Mortal Kombat Legends, Scorpion's Return, or Scorpion's Revenge. And the director they had making it is like the man. He does really good 2D animation. They pride themselves on being a traditional 2D animation studio that does 2D animation in computers as well. They're like, we haven't switched over to 3D art yet. We do it all in computer if we decide to do two. We go from traditional standard flipping paper animation to just drawing in a computer too.
What was the Disney system for that? Is it similar to that where you are penciling and inking all digital?
They can do that, but they do traditional. They pencil and ink in 2D, the keyframes, and then they put it into 3D. They put it into a computer and they draw the frames in between. Right. They're that level of traditional.
Okay. So they still have one foot in the physical tangible medium. Okay. Okay.
That's cool.
Huh. Yeah.
Okay.
And they're really big about, we don't have, like, other studios have adaptive software that does some of the keyframes in between.
Right, the tweening,
Yeah, there's the twining in between them. They don't do that. They do everything, draw it in on the computer by hand.
And that is so fascinating to me, man. I got so much love for those animators that take that time and the patience in order to make sure that I'm entertained. That's just dope. Thank you.
It is dope. It is
Thank
dope.
you.
Thank you for that. Because, like, even Mappa, they put it in 3D animation. Once you model the character, you have the character forever. You can make the character do anything it wants to do. What Mappa does well is elasticity to their characters.
And that's critical because there's a lot of CG characters where they don't have a lot of character because they don't have that squash and stretch.
Yeah, that squash and stretch.
They're just very rigid. Yeah, so you have to deform them to
totally nerding out on animation right now.
Hey, man, I'm loving it. I'm just listening to y'all soaking up game. I hope all y'all paying attention or pay attention. They're dropping gems on you right now.
One thing that makes anime different from Western animation is anime relies on feel. Like Naruto would do this, and his fingers would extend out, they would get longer, and flames would come around it, and that's the only thing that's animated. His fingers would be like that. Then they'll turn that frame sideways like this, and then something else will happen with the flames, and they didn't do any real animation of it. They just literally just turned the frame. And the frame of the box, and then they would do something else. Where in American animation, they would actually turn those hands.
That sounds way more expensive.
So Naruto start like this, then the motion blur it to this, and it'd be something different because it's about feeling. Anime captures feeling very well. That's why there's a lot of racing lines and stuff.
Yeah, speed lines.
Yeah. It's like Goku doing a drawback. He stays in the same pose, and all they do is pull the camera back. And
sounds smart too.
Yeah, it's very smart.
And
Japan has
there's some animes where they do like pans, of a camera, and like when you tilt a camera, it isn't like moving laterally. There's a perspective. It's on a curve. So the surface that you're viewing is arced. So even though the filmmaking is you draw one picture and then you pan the camera across it, it actually still has some distortion for the perspective. It's crazy. You see that in like Trigger does that a lot because they have their establishing shots to present you a sense of scale. And so they will start low and then go high, or go high and then start low, just to show you the difference in scale between whatever looming massive object there is versus the tiny, tiny person at the base.
Yeah.
Okay.
They figure things out. Like I tell everybody, what makes Evangelion so great? It's a masterclass on doing things cheaply.
On a budget.
Yeah. Or no budget. Yeah, no budget. So they'll have full conversations and you will never see a mouth move because it's always on the back of the character, staring at another character, staring at them. And the other character staring at them only blinks their eyes. It's like,
yeah.
they go from this.
Do you guys watch The Blacklist? I didn't watch it, but I heard that during like the COVID era, they pulled an Evangelion because they couldn't get people into the actual sets to perform. So they essentially made roughly pre-viz video, and they used this janky CG as the actual broadcast for the public.
Oh, wow.
Really?
That's brilliant.
Yeah. And I don't work, as I understand it, there was no like in-universe justification. Like someone wasn't in a dream world or anything like that. It was just like, I'm sorry, we don't have real actors. Here's some roughly animated computer models for you.
Yeah, the show must go on.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though. But if you've got good storytelling, you'll be surprised at what your mind will forgive.
Yeah,
if you're soaked into a very good story.
You mean like Cowboy Bebop, the live action?
Hey, I'm still only halfway through that.
don't start me until.
Hey, I got a segue for us. All right,
Good segue for us.
All right, so apparently.
Take a sip of mine.
Okay.
Y'all,
anyway, let's do that.
Know.
We didn't do the what are you sipping on? What are we all sipping on? So I told y'all I got the electrolyte water, smart water. What you got there, Chuck?
I have pineapple chili tequila. That's right. Okay. This is Casamigos finest. You know, this is that virgin breast milk that actually Clooney actually milked out of the cow of tequila and made this for me.
You uppity Negro.
I'm gonna bang my head against this mic.
That's all I can say about
and
that.
The pineapples that he raised out of Hawaii with the chili peppers out of Venezuela, and I put them all together. To make the perfect Mexican drink.
Okay. And I see you got a fancy cup there where it's like multi-layered so that you don't warm the drink, right?
That's right.
All right. Sintel, what have you got going on?
Yes. I got beer. That's where we at. I got beer.
And I let the
I got beer and Cavill. That's all I need.
Okay. I had some lemonade in this too. Freshly squeezed lemonade made with agave that I made, and I soaked in the peppers with it overnight with the pineapple.
Golly, man.
I was trying to show up Summer Punch today, you guys. Y'all have no idea. She comes with the best flowery drink.
All right, you got to timestamp this so that you can clip this and show it to her and get a reaction. We need a reaction video from Summer about this cocktail because it's true.
The cocktail, there's chili pepper.
She's always coming with the fancy cocktails.
She does come with the fancy cocktails.
Chuck was coming in here for a battle and left disappointed.
That's right. It's the end of the year. This is the last show of the year, homie. I'm trying to hold it down.
All right. Here's my segue. All right. So, Alita Battle Angel, Robert Rodriguez, and James Cameron are talking about going back to that well because if you watch the movie, it leaves off on a cliffhanger similar to Dune, right? Where it's just like, clearly more needs to happen here, but we're just stopping at this point, even though it's been 3 hours already. There's still more to tell. So apparently what's going on is you might remember that on this past season of Mandalorian, Robert Rodriguez directed an episode, and it was that crazy action scene out in the the canyons with people jumping and flipping and all sorts of stuff.
It felt like a Rodriguez scene. It did. It felt like his episode. I was like, oh yeah, that's him.
That's him. It's a signature move.
Right. Prior to that, though, he was doing a lot of virtual production, pioneering a lot of the stuff with the Spy Kids movie and with Sin City. So he's got like this big portfolio behind him. And then, James Cameron Battle Angel Alita was his baby for the longest time, like alongside Avatar. But then for whatever reason, Cameron, because he was under the Marianas Trench, couldn't direct Alita himself. So he handed that off to Robert Rodriguez. And so when Jon Favreau saw Battle Angel Alita, he was like, I think we can use him for our virtual production on The Mandalorian, which is how he got signed up. So as it turns out, we know that Hawkeye is ending next week because Disney Plus never ends. They've got Book of Boba Fett coming up. And Robert Rodriguez is directing, let me see what it says, 3 of the 7 episodes.
Oh, so they're really just trying to like go for it. Like
they're going for it, baby.
Oh, that's really ballsy by Disney.
The story is he's not going to get on Battle Angel Alita until he finishes this. But if I'm not mistaken, Battle Angel Alita is a Fox film, which means it's a Disney film now. I think that's right.
Yes, that's technically correct.
Yeah. All right.
I didn't know that. So
this makes me more interested because I'm not a Boba Fett fan, but then I am a Robert Rodriguez fan. If he's bringing his energy, his action, then I am down for that.
I'll say this about Rodriguez: if you're not familiar with his work, you won't be bored. I'll say that about his work. Regardless of how you feel, I think he's a brilliant director because he takes risks and he's not afraid to put himself out there. They don't always land. He doesn't always stick the landing, but you can't get good unless you take risks. And that's why I respect him. Yeah, you will be entertained. So at least I know now that at least a third of Boba Fett is going to be highly entertaining because those are like 9 episodes.
It's 7.
7.
Oh, it's 7. And you said he's doing 3?
3. Nearly half of them. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot of episodes to set the tone. Yeah, especially if he comes out the gates, that's gonna really set the tone.
I hope he does the first one and everybody's like, "What was that I just watched?" Star Wars has never done that. Star Wars has never done that. I've never had a close up like that of a character and then get shot in the face by Boba Fett.
Yeah,
that's what we want to see.
I don't know. They're R-rating this
pounding in the guy that's yellow and all the yellow blood going everywhere. We want to see that with Boba Fett.
It's a callback to Sin City.
Yeah, callback to Sin City,
which is so good. It still holds a little bit. It does.
Yeah, both those movies hold up.
Yeah. Shockingly.
It's so stylized.
The test of time is so tough. It's so difficult.
The only thing that's hold up in those is how cartoony the CG looks, but it fits that movie.
This is a person that did Spy Kids, and Spy Kids. If a little bit of hokiness is going to unravel you, then don't watch Spy Kids. Even though Spy Kids is really good for what it is, it's good for its lane.
Hey, 2 children directed that movie. 2 children directed and wrote that movie.
Yeah.
He let them direct it too. Apparently, he sat there and said, "What decision y'all want to make?" They're like, "We want to do this, Dad." All right, that's what I'm going to do.
And it feels like it, but it's still interesting.
And it's still
you're like, "What am I watching? And why haven't I turned this off?"
Have you seen the new movie where all the kids of the superheroes come together to do something? Yeah.
No, that's the second. Yeah, no. Shark Boy and Lava Girl's got 2 parts. No, they got a third one.
Yeah, the third one.
Because it's Shark Boy and Lava Girl 1 and 2, and then they got the third one when they're adults. Yeah. And it's still,
and the new kids.
The girl was on Dancing with the Stars, and she was grown in there.
I was like, his kids are grown up now. They know their daddy.
Was that Taylor Lautner
to do it? What's that?
Was that the Wolf Boy from Twilight? Was he the boy in that series?
I think he was. No, he wasn't. It's his son. No, he had his kids act in the movie.
No, those are his kids. Really? No, I didn't know that.
Kids. I think they're his kids.
That I didn't know. Huh. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I know he gave them a lot of creative freedom in a Hollywood film.
Man, I want to do my kids that way.
Wow, talk about Dad of the Year.
Dad of the Year.
Emmy Award winning
this summer. Huh? Yeah. I shot a Hollywood film at 9 years old.
No, let my kids just run it. We're straight. Don't worry about the budget. We'll be all good.
Yeah, don't worry. I gave blood my first film. People understand. He gave blood he did more 3 times to his first. He did.
No, he donated his body to scientific trials.
He did.
And word is that he still didn't like fully recover. Like this is the dedication that he had. Because I read Rebel Without a Crew. It's a good book. So really, you want to talk about a good book about if if you can't find a way, make a way. That book is that, because he was so broke, he maxed out credit cards, everything, that when I lived in LA, when I first got there, they used to have these little pamphlets that they would hand out, and it was like little 10-page pamphlets, and each one was a different type of scientific experiment. A lot of actors did it. A lot of for some sleep deprivation testing, everything from taking women's eggs and donating them for science, to donating sperm, to all kinds of like crazy stuff. Even like what is it, scraping your spinal column or whatever it is, getting core samples from your spinal fluid and stuff. But some of them paid insane amounts of money. Like you're like, I can get $100,000, but I have to disappear for 3 months and they don't really know what you're going to do to you. I don't know if they still handle those flyers anymore. Well, Rodriguez funded Once Upon a Time in Mexico. Is that what the name of it? I forgot the name of it. I think it's what the name of it. By donating his body to experimental science. I think he said in the book it was just sleep deprivation, but he did something else as well that I don't think he fully disclosed. And I don't think he even fully recovered. But as a testament, in order to get it done, no matter what it takes, he literally put his body on the line in order for the film to get made.
Yeah.
Cheers. Cheers, fellas.
Man.
Cheers.
Oh yeah. To the voice in the sky. What's going on with your fam?
Producer Rodney coming in.
God, is that you?
Right.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, man. I love that dude, Rodriguez, man. He gets mad respect from me. Mad props. Make it happen.
It takes a lot to be that dedicated to your craft. So if my young kids want to do it, and I already paid the price, they're gonna do what the hell they want to do.
Yeah.
I already paid the price.
And he's not one of them cats that asks for permission.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
He's like, I'm gonna just do this, and then we'll see worse. Because I'm sure you're not gonna pitch to a studio and be like, yeah, my kids are gonna direct and write this.
I'm surprised.
He was probably like, he signed the contract and was like, okay, when's the first day shooting? And then he had the crew meeting and was like, listen, there's gonna be a slight change.
My kids wrote this script, first of all. Second of all, they're gonna be in the director chairs next to me.
Oh man!
And don't worry, we'll fix whatever they make. We'll make it good in editing, because that's what I do.
Yeah, that's funny. Okay.
I love him for it. I literally, that's Father of the Year's type of stuff.
Yeah,
that is Father of the Year.
All right, let's talk about some more Latino heroes. We talked, it was like maybe 2 weeks ago, about a Zorro reboot where they were going to bring him back as a hacker type person. But there's another Zorro thing happening. Disney, for Disney Plus, is making a telenovela style drama show starring Wilmer Valderrama. You remember what's his name from the 70s show?
He was Fez in that 70s show, if I remember right. Yeah.
So what they're saying is, we are reimagining this Disney classic as a compelling period piece set in Pueblo de Los Angeles, but told in a very modern telenovela style, with richly drawn contemporary characters and relationships set against the action, drama, suspense, and humor of the original iconic Zorro.
Yes.
So this is official. This is happening. The telenovelas, soap operas, the tones can be all over the place, and I think that's part of the draw, where you are not sure what you're going to get in not just episode to episode, but scene to scene, moment to moment.
Can I say something? This is like watching a Latinx baseball player get a slow pitch. This is a home run every time. You're taking Zorro, making a telenovela style, and you're putting it on Disney Plus, so it's gonna be family friendly. And it's going to be full of romance. This is swashbuckling at its highest
because
level.
Hulu is Disney's adult streaming brand now.
Yeah, it's fine to do it on Hulu. It's fine. It doesn't matter where they put it. The whole Latinx family is going to watch this. Their kids are in the club at 3 years old, 4 years old. I'm going to be all in on this. Yes. This is like Jane the Virgin on steroids for a man.
You know what I noticed? So when HBO Max launched, there was a whole lot of Spanish language stuff there. And I wonder if this is a play to capture that audience, because Disney Plus has some, but not nearly the breadth of Spanish language content that HBO Max does, let alone Netflix.
Yo, let's be honest.
It's a bold move because you got to keep in mind, like if you're gonna delve into those deep waters, they've already got established production companies that they can go to for real authentic, right? So if that's not your neck of the woods, then you better come correct, you know. So I kind of give a hat tip to Disney for taking a bold step out in that direction. To me, it feels like I remember the first time I heard about Black Dynamite and how it was supposed to be a tongue-in-cheek blaxploitation type of film. You know, it does fan service to the era, but also adds like a bit of a modern spin to it. So to me, based off of what I'm hearing about this, it sounds like
that's a good analogy.
A cultural representation of that. And I loved Black Dynamite because it went there. Yeah. So I'm hoping. Yeah,
I didn't catch the series though.
The series is magical.
Yeah.
Oh man, the Michael Jackson episode is legendary.
Oh, it's probably it's
like one of the greatest episodes of television. The whole ninja scene.
If you don't watch anything else, watch the Michael Jackson episode.
Is that on Cartoon Network, Adult Swim? Can I catch that?
Yes, you can catch it on HBO Max.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm more happy about this than I was about the hacker Zorro thing. I was like, that was a disconnect for me. I'm like, what? Like, do people even know who Zorro is enough to make that reference even? To even make it worthy of using that reference. But if you do this telenova version of it, I mean, it is absolutely dragging their new audience into the scope of what this is really supposed to be about, and the fun and the excitement of it, and the hopefully proper cultural representation of the story being told.
Let's hope.
Hopefully. That's what I said. Hopefully. Because you could easily screw the pooch on this as well if
I'm
you
looking
don't do it right.
Producers' names, and I'm not familiar enough to know what they've worked on, so I don't know. Let's hope.
We'll see.
All right, let's see. What can I segue to here? More Disney stuff. So Spielberg, in the past decade or so, has rekindled his relationship with the mouse, and the latest project coming out of Amblin is a Goonies TV show, but not of the Goonies, as in the characters from the 80s, or even eating it up with the aging up. This is one of those metatextual things like High School the Musical, the series the musical sorts of things. So let me see if I can read what's going on here. What's going on here? This is formally referred to as the Untitled Film Reenactment Project, but is now called Our Time. The show follows a substitute teacher who sees a special passion in a handful of students and helps them shoot their own version of the Goonies. Not unlike what fans have done with Toy Story 3 or Raiders of the Lost Ark. I don't know what that reference is in this story. Are people sweeting these other movies, maybe?
Yeah, there's that.
So the result will inspire a town in desperate need of hope in this love letter to the power of cinema, storytelling, and dreams.
Okay, first off, you use a term that I haven't heard in a very long term. Hold on. I want you to explain sweeting. I know what it means, but I want you to explain to the audience what sweeting is.
Sweeting is super low budget filmmaking. So we're not talking about max out your credit cards to be able to rent cameras and lights and then go out to some abandoned warehouse to shoot your movie. I'm talking about we've got some paper plates and blankets and some cups and markers, and we're going to make a janky ass movie. So there was a movie that came out, I don't know, like 10, 15 years ago with Jack Black and was it Common? Called Be Kind, Please Rewind.
Yes.
Which was Michelle Gondry movie. Which
it was Most Deaf.
Okay. And if you are familiar with Michelle Gondry as a music video producer or filmmaker, you know that he loves these practical special effects, but he doesn't want to do it big budget, though sometimes they are. He's very ambitious, but he likes to do it in a way that it doesn't look expensive. So Michel Gondry, you might know him from Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, which we mentioned the other day in relation to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Ooh, still holds up too.
Be Kind, Please Rewind. He did the music videos for a lot of the Daft Punk music videos in the early days of that. He did some Kylie Minogue music videos. He did Walkie Talkie Man for, what is the name of that band? But anyway, he's got a very distinct craftsman style. So, where was I going with this? So that's sweeting. Sweeting is where you are making essentially a home video and you have a $0 budget. So you use whatever's around and it will look cheap. But there's a whole massive subculture on this.
Yes.
Let's talk
there is
about
an art
sweeting.
to making really cool zero budget movies.
Let's talk about
if you do
sweeting
yourself
at
a
its
favor,
finest.
I was gonna say YouTube sweeted Star Wars, and there's some really good ones where they're using a lot of cardboard. It's a lot of cardboard, but it's really, really, really good. Like I'm talking about, like there's a picture drawn on cardboard with a sun cut out, and they'll push the sun up, and it'll say sunrise. Like they'll say it. Like it's like that kind of humor to go along with it. But it's a lot of fun though. Sweeted videos are so much fun.
But you understand who's the king of sweeting was the early Doctor Who show, early seasons of Doctor Who. Like that's how we got the derelicts. They took a plunger and the spatula thing that sucks in, and they made the number one villain. And all of probably like nerd television.
That's right, because we want to talk about socialism infecting the media. Like literally, British TV is publicly
speaks
funded.
a lot, and they just nailed it with it. So this is, they know they're all on the stage, and they're like, how do we make this alien? Take a plunger, paint it, and we'll make it happen.
So make it work. I love it.
And the Goonies is perfect for this. They could have somebody do it on a phone.
Yeah.
One of these, and just have it laying out the phone, and have it like a kid's running it out of their house. It works.
And it's just like kids exploring the town. So you've got a town you can explore. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't need fancy stuff.
The only thing that's going to be unusual is kids being on dirt bikes. Because those kids would take Uber.
Unsupervised.
Unsupervised. Yeah. They don't do that these days.
There's those kids that are on the continent of Africa. I don't know what country they're from, but they
Uganda.
do a lot of sweeted version type films. They did one on Fast and the Furious. It's absolutely legendary. So yeah, you know what? You know why I like this also? Because it encourages storytelling. Because a lot of people won't tell their stories because they think they need to have a certain type of technology level or a certain type of awareness of how to do camera angles and all that other stuff. You don't need any of that. You just have to start.
You know what? I feel like TikTok is the spiritual successor to this movement.
Yes.
Yes, actually, yes. Yes, I agree with you. Yeah. Especially a lot of those one-shot, one-man storytelling that you see a lot. That's really, really just bursting on the scene. Like it'll be one person playing 9 different roles, and they'll tell an entire complete story in 90 seconds, which is like, wow, you did it. Well done. Just get it out. Tell that story. Yeah.
Man, if only Quibi hired all the TikTokers, would Quibi still be around? All the short form storytelling.
That's a question.
Hey,
it came
down
out
in
too
the audience,
soon.
who remembers Quibi?
Yeah, it came out too soon, man. It was ahead of its time.
And let's be honest. Quibi had bad leadership. Quibi had bad. They had a guy that wanted to make multi-million-dollar blockbusters in 7 minutes.
Yeah,
that's tough.
Ooh, yeah, it's really tough.
The consumption model of that, like a lot of times, like when we talk about video games on phones, your maximum play session can be 1 minute because we can't count on you having beyond 1 minute of your undivided attention while you're out and about doing whatever it is that you're doing.
And so Quibi ended up making the same show 7 different ways.
I didn't get the chance to see all the rotation stuff because like that was their big differentiating factor. We're going to change the aspect ratio.
Yeah, you change the aspect ratio. Yeah. It worked. It was brilliant. It's brilliant technology. They made the same show 7 different ways. They did it with Kevin Hart. They did some random show. Girl was like, I've never picked up anybody from the Hollywood Hills. He says, I'm the first. She was like, yeah, he said, you'll never do it again. And he was driving this girl around so he's commit murders.
Huh.
And then they made like 4 of those shows. They made like 4 of those shows.
Huh.
Quibi, the Quibi experiment was what, about 5 years ago? About 5-6 years ago?
I feel like it was more recent than that.
Yeah, it was like 3 years ago. It was in the pandemic. It was in the pandemic.
All right. I don't know why I thought it was
2 years ago.
I don't know why I thought it was earlier.
It was 2 years ago because I remember subscribing to it because I had like 6 free months. Friend hooked me up with 6 free months, and I
remember T-Mobile Tuesday. They gave out essentially a 6-month subscription, and it only lasted for 1 month past that. offer.
Oh wow, yeah. I mean, they put all that money in it. Oh yeah. And they made the same shows. Like they had the one called Hard Heart, was Kevin Hart's chase. Everything was a chase thriller except like two properties, and one of them was a murder mystery, and it's about a girl that went on her prom and she disappeared.
I remember the Anna Kendrick one where she befriends her boyfriend's sex doll. And they have wacky adventures together. Yeah. That was like two different ones. Everything else was very similar. Mm. Yeah. Did they have some comedy shows? I remember some comedians signed big deals for Quibi, and then
they signed podcasts from Gimlet. They signed a bunch of things up, like talk shows and everything, and none of that came to fruition.
Mm. Oh, they were in the pipeline, but then died too soon. Okay.
People left Netflix to go work there. So I'm thinking to myself, they paid top dollar for those people.
They really wanted to make it happen, huh?
Mm-hmm. They really. I mean, that's what happens when you got two billionaires running the company that have no idea what they're doing.
Right. One of them was former Disney, right? Was it Katzenberg?
Okay. Mm-hmm. Katzenberg, and he was a perfectionist. He wanted everything to be Hollywood quality, glossy and refined. And
he was the one who wanted to inject attitude into Disney back in that day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And nobody wanted that. Nobody goes to the phone for Hollywood quality.
No, not really. No. Not really.
Not until Disney Plus happened. Or I don't even know.
They do it because they have to go to the phone.
Disney Plus on their phones?
I keep hearing people getting. Okay, I keep hearing people like it's like some meme that's been going around about people completely shitting on the HBO Max app. Apparently, it's like horribly put together. Yeah,
man, all
like
these
you can't
apps are
pause
bad.
it or something, or you can't rewind or something.
Yeah, you can't
some weird and random like that.
You can't get to the list of episodes. Yeah. It's pretty bad. I mean, HBO needs to Warner Media needs to go into that building, bring everybody in during COVID times.
I'm sorry, Discovery Channel needs to go in.
What's up?
Oh, okay.
Discovery Channel needs to go in.
Yeah, Discovery Channel.
Did any of you see Kevin Hart's series on Netflix? What is it? No, True Story. I think it's called True Story.
I just started and I'm halfway through the first episode.
It's interesting, but now that you told me the Quibi stuff about him trying to do like these weird snatch and grabs or whatever it is, it feels like that, and every episode kind of feels like. So I feel like he must have cut his teeth on that form of storytelling, and then was like, "Well, we've got some concepts that maybe we could sell them to Netflix," and then they pieced it together, and then made True Story.
Yeah. I was having a good time.
So there's some homework for the audience. It's fun. I enjoyed it. It was fun.
I've gotten to the end of episode 1, and it was fun until it got to the end. And I was
what's the high level summary of this show? Like, I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with the premise.
Kevin Hart is a comedian who named The Kid, who ends up finding himself in a messed up situation where a woman is end up dead in his bed, and he's like the biggest comedian in the world right now. He's like, it's loosely based on himself, I guess.
Okay.
And he's got a brother that is notoriously known for messing things up in his life, but his brother is the only one that's in the hotel room with him with this dead girl, and you kind of go
Kevin's
from there.
Insistent that the brother has something to do with this, and as it plays out.
Well, I'm not going to say that. I don't want to say anything because that's just how the kickoff goes. Yeah. And you just got to figure, and you go down this crazy. You ever seen the movie Very Bad Things? Very Bad Things. It came out in like the late 90s.
I might have.
It feels kind of like
about these guys go on or Cruel Intentions a little bit too. Yeah, it's like you go off on this one path and then this horrible thing happens, and then how do you deal with the aftermath? And then it just spirals out of control. It snowballs. And it
Did either of y'all see the movie Zola, the one based on the Twitter thread?
I still haven't seen it. The Twitter thread was legendary.
The Twitter story was legendary.
I did watch it. I think it's a strong movie. I have a very strong opinion on the ending, but I think that despite my feelings, I think it ends. The feeling that I came away from in the movie feels thematically appropriate to the characters and goings on there. So I don't know that I can call the movie enjoyable, but I think I can call it art.
Okay. I heard it was shot on a shoestring budget, so that may have a lot to do with it too. You can only do so much.
Down in Tampa, and they go down a stretch of I-4, so I'm looking at all these landmarks. I'm like, I know this place. This is weird.
Yeah. It's nuts. I want to watch Zola because it's on Showtime. It's on Showtime, so I'm gonna watch it. But
so
I was like,
brief for that is the stripper meets another stripper at a restaurant, and then the one invites the other to come work, and then they kick it off. They become best buddies overnight, and then the one invites the other one down to a big event down in Florida. They start up in Detroit or something, like way the hell out, many states over, and then the promise of working at this one club isn't what it turns out to be, and it's that chaotic spiral of getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper into some mess. Based on a true story.
Yeah. So we think it's based on that story was so out of control. It's like, did this really happen?
There is a myth that was dispelled, but she said it's enough of the facts were true enough. With embellishment.
Okay.
I can recommend it. It's not my strongest recommendation, but if you're looking for interesting cinema, it is that.
Man, let me tell you, the Twitter story was interesting because they were two strippers, and she was like, "Yo, we can go to Tampa right now and get this money." And she's like, "All right." All right, they go to Tampa, and then all hell breaks loose. And after living in Tampa, I can see how all hell can break loose.
This is a Florida man situation.
It is a Florida man situation.
Yes, it is.
So look at that Twitter thread if y'all want. That's Zola, Z-O-L-A. I'm sure if you just write Zola Twitter thread, it will be top results.
Yeah.
And the co-lead is, if I'm not mistaken, it is Elvis Presley's granddaughter.
Oh,
Priscilla?
really?
No, Priscilla's his daughter. Priscilla's his daughter.
Lisa Marie's daughter, I want to say. Right?
Yeah, Lisa Marie's daughter.
Keough.
Yeah, so she's the broke mama's daughter who would probably be real Zola in real life.
She's got a career.
Yeah, she has a career, but her mama spent all her daddy's money and sold away all the rights.
Damn,
Grandpa was rich there, dog, and mama gave away all the rights, sold them all off.
Well, there you go.
All right, what story y'all want to move to here? I guess we can keep going down this thread of movie announcements ish. So, hey, Arthur C. Clarke, huge name in speculative science fiction, and Denis Villeneuve. I think that's what I heard most recently. The guy behind The Arrival and Blade Runner 2048 and most recently Dune. So his next project supposedly will be Rendezvous with Rama, which is a book that I tried to read as a youth and it was over my head. But, the way that I got linked to the book was because back in that day, CD-ROM multimedia games were happening and they were advertising a Rendezvous with Rama video game in the style of Myst. I was like, ooh, I want to know more about this video game. See, video games can lead to reading. Video game isn't a replacement for reading. But so that's my link here. So let's see. It's the story of Earth detecting an alien spaceship coming into our solar system and the mission humanity mounts to go meet it. So there's not quite aliens yet. This is a multi-part story, if I remember. There's at least 3 books, I want to say. And it is, like I said, speculative fiction, right? Because this was written, it doesn't say here when it was written, 1973. So that's just after we landed on the moon-ish, 4 years after.
My thing is this. Is this what anybody wants to see?
I don't know that this is a name. This is like everyone is mining the Philip K. Dick mines, right? Like every single thing that Philip K. Dick wrote is getting a translation. So yeah, I don't know if this is beloved. I told y'all how I found out about this world, video games. But for the greater audience, I'm not sure, honestly.
Well, I think he's realizing he has a lane, or Hollywood is putting him into the lane, because all right, so he did Arrival, which was very, very well done. So it was so good, and he knocked that out the park. And nobody really saw Arrival coming. It kind of became like a geek kind of subculture that really like pushed that movie. And then Blade Runner came afterwards, which a select small group of people liked. Not a lot of people was over the top of it, but it still has kind of like that science fiction-y kind of otherworldly kind of feel. And then of course, he did Dune. So he's established his lane. So to me, that sounds like par for the course. It seems like he doesn't really have to flex too much because he's done this movie before.
Just what's Roland Emmerich, right? Okay, so I saw a third trailer for Moonfall, and every trailer I've seen of that movie, it feels like a different movie that they're selling me. But Roland Emmerich is the guy.
It was just me. You saw the one for Spider-Man, the trailer of Spider-Man.
Yeah. I'm like,
I was like, what is this?
I haven't seen this trailer. I know I saw another trailer just the other week.
Yeah, and you're like, how's this the same movie?
So
how's this the same movie? Maybe it's the movie for everyone, guys, that all of Hollywood's been trying to make for 2 centuries.
I think it's going to do well, and it's going to be absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, but Roland Emmerich, probably his objectively best movie is probably Stargate, right? But then he's done a whole lot of disaster movies like 2012, Independence Day, Day After Tomorrow, Godzilla. There's always some enormous disaster going on in his movies. Yeah. Like he got typecasted. So like we're saying that Denny got, that's geek culture things. But for Roland Emmerich, it's the disaster movie. That is his brand.
Yeah, and he's either really good or I guess it depends on. But
these also aren't cheap movies.
No.
They're movies where humans don't got control.
Yeah.
The high collateral damage movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But at least with Villanueva, you're gonna get some really good storytelling, and some really good characters. He does really he seems like he's like an actor's director. Like he can pull some stuff out of you. So that's enough to get me excited about it.
Absolutely. I want to shout out Paul, ID4. He saw that 4 times in the theaters. I think I only saw it 2 times.
Paul? What?
Well, dude.
Why?
Or
ID1,
Spider-Man.
ID2, ID3, ID4. 4 times in the theater.
Oh, wow.
Oh, shit. Do you guys remember the ID4 action figures? They came with a floppy disk, right? So there was a little computer program mini game thing that came with the toys. I thought that was a fantastically super geeky, forward-thinking
That's cool.
thing.
That was cool. That's cool.
Yeah, and you had to, buy different toys to get different.
How many
I forget
of those
what it was,
do you
mission
own,
packs, story
Carl?
pack, or something like that.
How many of those do you own, Carl?
Not as many as you would think. Probably maximum 2.
Oh, that's not bad. I was expecting like 20.
I mean, I was a kid at that time, so
you had control of the purse strings at the time. Yeah, it was parent money.
Yeah.
Guys, I think we're at time.
Okay.
Oh yeah, man, that went by
quick. Last show of the year, the last official show of the year of the roster of shows we have this year. How do y'all feel?
Whew. I don't know. It was great joining the crew. Chatting with y'all, everyone here on the Geekish Network across the different shows, chatting with the chat. This, for those who don't know me in real life, I'm more or less an introvert and a private person. So this really brought me out of my shell, which was important, in COVID times. Like I am a loner. I can deal well with myself by myself, but, I still need social contact. And this provided me a whole lot of that, outside of my daily network of, coworkers. So thank y'all.
How you feel, Centel?
Oh,
You're a day one.
I know it. You got me in the feels. Oh man, it was so much fun to get a chance to see the real Defunk.
Yeah, the real Defunk is not an introvert. I brought him out a long time ago. I made him my friend.
It's true. I got adopted by an extrovert.
Yeah, you did.
No, but I was still introverted when you brought me out. I was just introverted out at the club.
Yeah, I'll take you everywhere. I understood who he was. I was like, this is my homie right here. I knew that. I was like, this is my person. This is my person right here. This is one of my peoples.
Man, we bonded almost immediately after we met, right?
We did.
We got sat in the same pod, and that was we were on from then.
It was. We had a good pod too. We had a really good pod. Centel, you're a day oneer. Man, we go back to 95.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel?
Yo, this to me is first off, just the idea in general is just off the chain. It's tons of fun. And then the great thing about when you're building something creatively with somebody else is that the bonds that you build as you're building this piece of art together. And as you're building together, and you can really get to know people, you get to it feels a lot like family. I'll say that. Like we build together, we argue together, we solve problems together, we create together. So a year in, it's like, okay, I know what to expect. I know how hard to push. I know how hard to kind of like chill out. and I love it when my family tells me to shut the hell up because I need to be told to shut the hell up. So it's just wonderful being able to give an experience of this culture that we just love, this geek nerd culture that we didn't even really had a name for. We've been doing this since before the word blurred or people of color doing this geek thing or whatever it was.
It's just what we bonded over. It's just what we did. Students.
Yeah, it's just what we did, and to be able to just share it with everybody else and get in touch with other people, that's like, yo, I feel that. I went through that same experience with you, and to be a part of this as we reach out is priceless in itself, and I'm just grateful to get an opportunity to be a part of it. So I just want to say thank you so much, because this is I would love to just do this for a very long time.
We hope so.
Make the family even bigger. Make the family even bigger.
Yes. To make the family bigger, I call everybody in my chest a jewel. All of y'all are jewels to me, and you're part of my tribe. I've been fortunate that the universe has placed y'all in my path. And not only that, I want to give a shout out to the ghost in the background always, and my foil that I talk to all the time is Rodney. And I know Rodney has some things to say. I say a lot of things, and y'all probably tired of hearing me say things. And I want to give a shout out to Digital Click. They're always there, ride or die. They're still there. They're busy right now, but we're going to bring them back in. And I want to talk to Rodney. Rodney, why don't you come and say something to us? He's the voice of the background, man.
Yo.
Hey, what's going on, Rodney?
Yo. Sorry, I'm a little bit this is something different. I'm trying to a little different. We've been just want to say something really quick. I just want to say, hey, a toast to raise a glass, toast to first and foremost the GeekBeast for holding it down for the whole year, day in, day out, literally Monday through Friday. You guys have been like superstars, right? And then of course to the whole Geekish Network. We've had some ups and some downs, but we are gonna hit 2022 really, really hard. So, toast to that, to Digital Click, to anybody who's ever been in chat, to Digital Click, to whoever has been like a host or a guest or whatever, through all the different podcasts, through all the different streams, to the charity streams. We've raised probably over $2,000 between the different charity streams that we've run. I wanted to keep this quick. I don't want to get too much into it, but we'll probably have a lot more. We'll be seeing me and Chuck have some plans where me and him are actually going to have a podcast together or a stream. So, we're definitely going to talk a lot more, but here, happy holidays to all of you all. Happy geeky holidays. Watch Spider-Man, watch The Witcher, which dropped today. Watch The Expanse, which dropped, last Friday. Watch The Matrix. Watch The Matrix coming up. Right? So, seriously, it's me and Earl used to joke around. We used to say we grew up in the dark ages where you couldn't find any, you had to like seek out geek stuff. And you were made fun of for being geeky. You couldn't share. Yeah. But no, we now in a golden age of geekies where you have too many things to watch and too many things to consume, right? So, we're happy to be here with you. We're happy to do this and to end this year on a very strong note. But like 2022 is gonna be amazing. It's gonna be amazing. All right. So cheers to all y'all. Cheers. Drink if you can.
Cheers. Salud. Prost.
Cheers.
Kampai. I don't know the other ones.
That was it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Happy holidays. I guess it's time to say the last final words. Good night. God bless.